Ooh, I got a spooky glow-in-the-dark shirt. I just wanted to waste time to show that off. This has nothing to do with the rest of the video. Okay, I'm gonna just put this back in now. Go. Hi everybody, welcome back to Candy Jack's Toy Box. Today we're going to be talking about one of these figures from the Clive Barker's Tortured Souls series. Tortured Souls was a toy line that came out in the early 2000s. I want to say it was maybe 2001 and 2002 that it ran. I don't know the full history behind it, but I guess basically it was like a collaboration between McFarlane Toys, who, if you don't know, Todd McFarlane is the creator of Spawn. And he also created his own toy company, which in, I'm going to say like the late 90s and early 2000s, created some very impressive action figures. Very detailed, not very articulated, but very display-worthy pieces. He's since moved on to creating more articulated figures and other kind of random things. If you've seen the, those like little, not Legos, but Lego-ish looking Five Nights at Freddy's things, he did those. But for this series we're talking about, he I guess teamed up with Clive Barker, who created Hellraiser. If you don't know, Clive Barker wrote the book The Hellbound Heart, which was then later made into the movie Hellraiser, which was also written and directed by Clive Barker. And Clive Barker is just overall a very imaginative dude. And I think Tortured Souls has some sort of like link to Hellraiser. I think there's some sort of mythos connection or whatever. I don't really know what it is. I just know that these action figures are very cool looking. The series has interested me for a long time, but I remember when I first saw them in stores, this was, you know, again, early 2000s, I would have been a lot shorter. I think this was actually still before I had seen Hellraiser, which for my age is normal, but for me it was tragic because I was already seeing like the Freddy and the Jason movies and all that, and I wanted to see Hellraiser. My mother was very adamant about that one. She's like, maybe we'll just wait and see if a TV edited version comes on. But come on, you're killing me. Eventually, after asking for so long, she's just like, screw it. We'll just rent the movie. We'll deal with the psychological trauma later. And I watched it, and it was the most awesome thing I've ever seen. To this day, it remains one of my all-time favorite horror movies. If you're a fan of Hellraiser or you're familiar with it, you'll know that there's definitely an aesthetic similarity here. We have these sort of monsters that have, basically, they're monstrous due to mutilations all over their body. This is barbed wire and spike in his head. The whole Tortured Souls series was pretty much this, just these mutilated, tortured creatures, some looking in worse shape than others. They did like, you know, 12-inch scale ones like these, and then there was also, I think, 6-inch scale ones. I only wanted to just get one large scale one. I'm not interested in collecting the whole line or anything. I have to draw the line at some point because I tend to get a lot of crap, and then I don't have room for things like being alive. Each of these characters do have names. I forget this one, so I'll just look it up on Google while I'm editing, and then I'll just put it right here. Okay, so that's this guy. This one has a neat little feature here, if I can do it. Film on his head pops off, gives you a look at his face there, or, you know, his eyes and such. This one looks a lot like the Chatterer from Hellraiser, which might confuse some people into thinking that it's just that character, but it's not. There's actually a few figures from this line that kind of look a little too much like the Chatterer. Clive Barker must have just had a thing for that, like pulling the lips back to expose the teeth. I don't know. But like I was saying, I first saw these in the early 2000s. I think it was at Suncoast Video. Do those even exist still? Whatever. It was a Suncoast Video. I saw them on the shelves. That's where I used to get all of my collectibles back in the day. I do recall feeling like these are a bit much. Like, these kind of disturbed me. Like, I didn't want them right away. Like, it took maybe some years before I was kind of like, these might be cool to have. I don't know. But at first I was definitely like, these are kind of disgusting. Are these bad? Are these too much? Are these a no-no thing? It's just funny to think of like my little kid mindset about the whole thing. Like, realistically, where do you draw the line? I mean, like seeing people get their head cut off is fine, but like this is not fine. I mean, obviously this is more extreme than a simple decapitation, but where are we drawing the line? So yeah, they kind of creeped me out a bit when I was younger, but gradually as time went on, I kind of appreciated the art behind it, and again, I eventually saw Hellraiser, so it's like I love that, so it's the same stuff. I even remember in the early days of Netflix, before they even had like the streaming aspect, it was just rent DVDs, and sometimes they would have movies that weren't out yet, so you'd have like a save button. If nobody knows how this works on Netflix, the DVD portion, you'd click a button that says add, and it would save it to your queue, because you could only get 3 DVDs at a time in the mail. So you get 3 DVDs, watch them, mail them back, and then the next movies lined up in your queue, those would get shipped out next. But movies that weren't out yet, you could hit save, and then whenever it was available, it would add it to your queue. And there was a movie called Tortured Souls on there, and I look at the description, and it said, basically it was based on this. It was directly based on the Clive Barker thing. Cool, they're making a movie out of that. I think it was supposed to be an animated movie. I don't think there's any cover art. The cover just said Tortured Souls. Never became available. I never heard about it again. If anybody knows anything about that, tell me about it in the comments. But yeah, that was just a weird thing. Like, it never happened. So that's just my little chit chat about the Clive Barker Tortured Souls. This is definitely, I think, the golden age of McFarlane Toys. They're doing this stuff. They're doing Movie Maniacs, which I might also talk about on here. They're still doing the Spawn figures. Any fans of McFarlane Toys out there? Maybe you can tell me what your favorite line was. New, old, yesterday, today, I don't really care. Yeah, thanks for watching, I guess. Don't do all the liking and the commenting and the subscribing. Do all 3 of those things, and I'll tell him not to murder you. Is that a good strategy? Probably not. See you next week for my Easter video.